Hello and welcome to the APSA Grand Tour 2021, Season 2. Today we're in the South Pacific and we have expert panelists, Manoa Rey from Tahiti, Katrina Matherson from Cook Islands, and David Jamieson from Fiji and Tonga. Nigel Beattie, the APSA chairman, will be doing an introduction, and then the panelists will be presenting for 10 minutes each. And then at the end of the session, we've got a question and answer session. And while the webinar is going on, you can put your questions up on the question and answer chat, which you'll find at the bottom of the toolbar of your Zoom screen. If you want any information about APSA, you can contact me. My details are there as well. So we're going to head over now to Nigel Beattie. Hi, Nigel.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
All the way from Japan.
Yeah, hi everybody. Listen, it's great to have you back, or if you're joining for the first time, welcome. Today we've got a brand new episode of the APSA Grand Tour that we've entitled the South Pacific Swing. My name's Nigel Beattie. If you don't know me already, I'm the chairman of APSA, the Asia Pacific Super Yacht Association. I'm speaking to you from the Yacht Zoo office in Tokyo, and I'm very excited about what we have coming up tonight in this episode. Look, as a yacht captain myself, previously I've skippered super yachts around the Caribbean, the Americas, Europe, a lot of Asia as well. But I've never really managed to get down to the South Pacific and cruise down there, and I've really wanted to. My knowledge of the geography down there is not that great, and the cruising grounds I'm not so sure about, this is why I'm excited. I'm also excited to have some expert speakers tonight for this episode. We've got the infamous David Jamieson from Fiji, an amazing guy called Manoa Rey from Tahiti, and the wonderful Katrina Matherson, who's from the Cook Islands. And I can't wait. So look, no further ado, let's get on with it. Please enjoy tonight's Grand Tour, the episode, the South Pacific Swing. I'll chat to you a little bit later at the end of the presentations. Susie.
Thanks, Nigel, and we'll hear from you later. I'd like to introduce now Manoa Rey, who was born and raised in Tahiti, or French Polynesia, and he left when he was 19 to go and study international business in France. And after obtaining his master's degree, he couldn't resist his homeland. And Manoa now works for Tahiti Tourism, overseeing its promotional strategy for nautical tourism, and looking at super yachts in particular. Manoa, we're looking forward to hearing all about Tahiti.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Susie, for this great introduction. Hello, everyone. Yorana. My name is Manoa. Very happy to be there with you today. And I would just like to share my passion about the islands of Tahiti. So just to remind you where we are located. So we are in the South Pacific, around 4,000 nautical miles from Panama, west of Panama. And we are actually by plane 8 hours from Los Angeles, 20 hours from Paris. So usually we have daily flights from this destination, west coast of the US and Europe. And we also have direct flights from Tokyo, Honolulu, Noumea, and Auckland. So just some general information about the islands of Tahiti. So as I said, it's the first hub into the South Pacific after Panama. So this location is really an asset because every super yacht that has to explore the South Pacific will have to stop to the islands of Tahiti. And obviously, we always try to keep them as long as possible in our waters before they go on their journey. So it's 118 islands divided into 5 unique archipelagos, covering a territory as large as Western Europe, more or less. Charter is legal as well in the islands of Tahiti. So foreign vessels are allowed 36 months in the country. And although we are quite in the middle of nowhere, we still have some modern infrastructure and services for super yachts. So there are 2 main marinas on the main island of Tahiti, which can accommodate large yachts, and also local super yacht agents that will take care of super yachts during all their stay in the islands of Tahiti. A few words also about like maintenance infrastructure. So we do have a floating dry dock and a travel lift in Tahiti. About the weather, so we have quite good weather conditions in the islands of Tahiti. No major navigation challenges. So all the navigation charts are up to date, and most of the islands can be accessed quite easily. It is also a French territory, so the official name of the islands of Tahiti is French Polynesia, for those who don't know. So there are no safety, no security issues, and we also have modern healthcare infrastructure. And a very important information, so currently our borders are closed for visitors, but we will be open again on May 1st of this year. So for the moment, we don't have details about the future entry conditions, but we do know that the borders will be open to visitors and to super yachts on May 1st. So a lot of people don't realize how big are the islands of Tahiti. So as I said before, it's actually as big, as large as Western Europe. The only difference, obviously, is that it's 99% water versus 1% land. So as you can imagine, it's a perfect playground for super yachts. So today I won't have time to talk to you about all the 5 archipelagos. So I will focus on the Society Islands and the Tuamotu Islands. So the most popular archipelagos that are usually included in super yacht itineraries. So let's start with the Society Islands. So this archipelago includes the main island of Tahiti and also the famous island of Bora Bora that you all may know. So these islands are very green, mountainous islands with lush vegetation. And also the main island of Tahiti has marina to accommodate super yachts. But on the other islands, there are no super yacht dedicated marinas, but very safe and sheltered anchorage spots. So these islands, the Society Islands, really offer a great combination of land and water activities. So for the land side, hiking, horseback riding, a lot of cultural activities. And on the water side, everything you can imagine, paddleboarding, surfing, jet skiing, and of course, snorkeling and diving. A few words about the Polynesian culture. So the culture is very, very strong in the islands of Tahiti. So it is passed on from generation to generation, and the Polynesian people are really attached to their culture. And recently we had more and more inquiries and more requests from visitors, and especially super yacht visitors who want to experience the Polynesian culture. So it's easy to organize private cultural experience for super yacht guests, such as dance lessons, for example. So culture is very, very important. Another aspect of the islands of Tahiti, the Society Islands, are also the luxury. So especially on the island of Tahiti, Manoa Rey and Bora Bora, you will find very high-end resorts, so international brands such as Conrad, Hilton, Intercontinental, St. Regis, or Four Seasons. And also, thanks to the French influence, we also have very good high-quality restaurants with a great mix of local food and also international foods. Okay, so now a little focus on the Tuamotu Islands. So the Tuamotu Islands are located around 500 nautical miles east from the Society Islands. And actually it consists of 78 atolls, so flat islands, very different from the Society Islands. And it's really an underwater paradise. And actually, what I find very amazing about the Tuamotu Islands is that you really have this feeling of privacy and seclusion. So it is really the perfect place if you want to disconnect from the world, if you want to get away from the crowds. And especially when you're on the super yachts, you can really reach some, very remote areas with unpopulated islands, for example. And I think that is a great thing about the islands of Tahiti. On the one hand, you have the Tahiti Islands with the luxury, the high-end resorts, the high-end restaurants as well. And on the other hand, you have the Tuamotu Islands with the privacy, the authenticity, and the culture. So you really have the best of both worlds in our islands. So it's difficult to talk about the islands of Tahiti and especially the Tuamotus without mentioning the underwater life. So the water is it's really an underwater paradise, the islands of Tahiti. So the water is warm, around 26 degrees Celsius, and the visibility is quite clear all year long. And most dives, so diving is a must in the Tuamotus, and most dives are shallow, close to the reef and passes, and never far from a yacht anchorage. It is really important to notice as well that the protection of the marine environment is a priority for the French Polynesian government. So the Tuamotu, for example, is a UNESCO biosphere, and our destination is a sanctuary for marine mammals since 2002, and all shark species are protected since 2004. And really, diving in French Polynesia is really the perfect place to encounter a variety of species: sharks, turtles, dolphins, and also never forget for super yachts, it's very important to use a local dive instructor for obvious safety reasons. So yes, I would like to end this presentation with what I see as the pillar of our destination, which is the Polynesian people. So I talked earlier about the culture, and the people are the one who helped preserve our culture all these years. And all the Polynesians are really happy to share this culture with the visitors through the dances, through music, through all the activities that we enjoy every day: fishing, surfing, traditional outrigger sailing. And what I find really amazing is that when we ask visitors why they came to Tahiti, they will always say that they come for the postcards, so they come for the white sand beaches, they come for the overwater bungalows, for the marine life. But when they leave Tahiti, when we ask what they remember about Tahiti, they will usually say the people. And I think that's the most amazing thing. So thank you for your attention, and thank you, APSA, for this great opportunity to showcase the islands of Tahiti. And of course, if you have some question, I am here, and do not hesitate. Maru, thank you.
Thank you so much, Manoa. And I think you're a good example of the people of Tahiti. They're just fantastic. And I love the water clarity there. I mean, honestly, it's amazing. But I have a quick question. You said that Tahiti will be opening up from May. And is there any sort of vaccination criteria? I've just had my jab, so I'm ready.
So the details of the entry conditions are not confirmed yet. So as I said, so we're waiting for more details from the government and from the health minister. But we should have this information in the following days. So I will be able to share it on our network, and obviously people who are attending this seminar will have my contact details. So if there are any questions about the entry conditions, yeah, I will be available.
Great, thank you. And
thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to the Cook Islands, and Katrina Matherson will be joining us. Katrina is the CEO of the Cook Islands Yacht Squadron and the marketing manager of Maritime Cook Islands, which is the flag state administrator of the Cook Islands for ships and super yachts. Katrina specializes in yacht registration, and she's lived in this island paradise for the last 15 years. I'm so jealous. Katrina, looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Susie, for the introduction, and a big kia ora to all of those that have joined us today. There are two things I love to talk about. and that is the Cook Islands and yachting. The Cook Islands is made up of 15 islands scattered across 2 million square kilometers of the South Pacific Ocean. We have the northern group, which is made up of Penrhyn, Rakahanga, Manahiki, Pukapuka, Palmerston, Nassau, and Suara. The southern group is Aitutaki, Manawai, Mitiaro, Maukea, Achu, Mangaya, Tokotea, and Rarotonga. The Cook Islands is flanked by the Kingdom of Tonga to the west and Tahiti to the east. Rarotonga is the capital and main island of the Cook Islands. Flights to Cook Islands, pre-COVID, we had international flights from Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne, Auckland, Tahiti, and Los Angeles. Today, we only have one direct flight from Auckland with Air New Zealand. Here's some facts about the Cook Islands. Cook Islanders are New Zealand passport holders. The Cook Islands is a self-governing country and free association with New Zealand, and is a part of the realm of New Zealand. As such, Cook Islanders are New Zealand citizens. We deal in New Zealand currency. Our first language is English, but native language is Cook Island Māori. The total population of the Cook Islands is 17,000 people. The Cook Islands economy is based primarily on tourism, with over 150,000 visitors per year. The Cook Islands is COVID-free, and we have not had a case to date, which is something we're very proud of. New Zealand has opened the bubble to the Cook Islanders to enter New Zealand without having to quarantine. Cook Islanders and New Zealanders have set a date for the 1st of May 2021 to open up the bubble for New Zealanders to enter the Cook Islands and New Zealand without having to quarantine. Unfortunately, this does not extend to our seaports. The date set for the sea borders is May 2022. Rarotonga, this is my homeland. This is where I live. It's a beautiful place to be. Rarotonga is a volcanic island that stands 4,500 meters above the ocean floor. The island has a population of 10,649 people. It's 32 kilometers around the island, and we're surrounded by more than 100 meters of reef. We have beautiful sandy white beaches around the island, and the lagoon is rich in marine life. This is Avachu Harbour. This is our main harbour in Rarotonga. The Cook Island relies heavily on the importation of goods into the islands from New Zealand. Maximum length we can have in the harbour is 118 metres. There is a height restriction of 27 metres for yachts or for any type of boat coming into the harbour, as there's a flight path. The man to the right of the screen is our harbour master, John Jesse, and he is your point of contact into the Cook Islands, along with health officials and customs. We have yacht agents in the Cook Islands who I recommend can assist with these services, or agents can be found on our port's website, www.ports.co.ck. There's draft plans to build a marina in Rarotonga. However, it's not certain when this will happen. And they're going to be looking at building this in Avarua, which is in the main town centre. This is the draft plan. What to do in Rarotonga? There's so much to do on the water and on land. On the water, we have lagoon cruises, blue water game fishing, diving, snorkeling, sea scooters, reef walks, speedboating, paddleboarding, sailing, kite surfing, paddleboard yoga, and so much more. On the land, you can do the Cross Island Walk, come out at the Wigmore's waterfall, experience Cook Islands food, culture at island nights, buggy rides, cycling tours, hiking, night markets, spa days, restaurants, and we have an amazing nightlife out. The island loves to party. This is a photo of our beautiful Cook Island dancers at an island night. Island night consists of a buffet dinner with live entertainment from a local dance group and with fire dancing. This is a local dance team in the traditional costumes. You may come across them while walking on the beach. This is the Needle. We have a cross-island walk, which takes about 3 to 4 hours to cross the island. It is the most popular walking track for tourists. This picture above shows the Needle, which is at the center of the island. When you finish your walk, you come out to a beautiful waterfall. It's just amazing and a must-do. Game fishing, I'm very big on game fishing. My husband has a game fishing charter boat, so I know quite a lot about fishing. So we mainly fish for pelagic species here in Rarotonga. We have wahoo running in May to September, yellowfin tuna, mahi-mahi, marlin from December to April. As you can see on the left, this is a giant trevally, which was caught at night. We only do catch and release because a lot of them have ciguatera poisoning. But if you're not a keen fisherman, you can always go down to the wharf and watch, see them with the local fishermen feeding them. Spearfishing, you can do spearfishing at the local flats. You'll need to go out on a tour on a charter boat. We target game fish like tuna, mahi-mahi, and wahoo. It's best to bring your own gear, as some charters don't provide everything. Turtle tours, this is an amazing experience, which I've just recently done with my family. You can see up to 15 to 20 turtles. We have a local photographer, Charlotte Piho, who kindly let me use her photo, and she does amazing tours and underwater photography. So you take your family, she can do photos, and you get to swim the turtles. It's a really great thing to do. But I do recommend you go with a good guide with the passages. Okay. Humpback whales, we have humpback whales that migrate to the South Pacific waters from their summer feeding grounds of Australia and New Zealand and the cool Antarctic Ocean, and they like to enjoy coming to the Cook Islands for a few months. They can be seen from July to October, and we have a number of charter boats that will take you out to view them. Aitutaki. Many say this island is where heaven meets earth, and it really is. It's beautiful. I'll be traveling there tomorrow, so I'm very excited. Aitutaki is a 45-minute flight from Rarotonga. You are able to anchor outside the port if you're coming by yacht. The population is 1,800, and it's 220 kilometers from Rarotonga. Like Tahiti has Bora Bora, Cook Islands has Aitutaki. This is a photo of One Foot Island in Aitutaki. There are beautiful sandbanks that you can walk out to, giant clams, giant trevally, and fish everywhere. The visibility of the water is just amazing, and it's a must-go-to place whilst you're in Aitutaki. This is a boat of a local local charter, which you can spend the day eating, drinking, and swimming. The vessel will take you to One Foot and to the snorkeling grounds, as well as provide lunch for the day. This is a giant trevally at the snorkeling grounds as part of the tour. I wouldn't recommend you feed the fish like these local guys are. I'd leave it to the experts, or otherwise you might lose a hand. So this is a bonefish to the avid angler. Aitutaki presents the challenge of a lifetime, as the tropical Aitutaki lagoon waters are where the world's largest bonefish make their home. Its wit, speed, and power is what makes the bonefish such a worthy opponent. You can hire these sailing boats through Sailing Cook Islands to explore the lagoon. You can take them out to a deserted island for the day, have lunch, and then come back to the main island. It's a really exciting way to see the islands. We really look forward to seeing you really soon. Can't wait. And if you're ever in the Cook Islands, please look me up, and I will show you around and will host you. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Now we have David Jamieson. David sailed into Fiji as a captain of a 30-meter classic yacht and was taken with the place and stayed. He set up Yacht Help Fiji and Yacht Help Tonga. And over the last 20 years, he's provided services to hundreds of super yachts that have visited the islands, and he looks forward to welcoming you. David, thank you for being here today, and we look forward to hearing more about Fiji and Tonga.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you for having me. It's a great initiative and put on by the APSA team, much appreciated. So yeah, Yacht Help's been around since 1988, servicing super yachts, and as mentioned, we operate in both Tonga and Fiji. And so we're located in the Central Pacific, halfway between Tahiti and the East Coast Australia. We're 1,000 miles north of Brisbane. So that central location makes Fiji like a natural hub for tourism, trade and super yachts in the region. It also gives us good connections for provisioning and parts. We have direct flights and daily flights from Hong Kong, Los Angeles, Singapore, New Zealand, all the major Pacific islands, that's into Fiji. And Tonga has direct flights from Australia and New Zealand. So we're lucky enough to live in a tropical maritime climate, which is bathed in trade winds for about 65% of the year. So our best season for cruising is our winter season, which is between April and November. So that, for everybody who's in Europe, that's the opposite of the Caribbean season. Okay, and so facilities in the region. So Tonga doesn't yet have a super yacht marina. You can bunker off the main wharfs for super yachts. Provisions are available locally. You can also import. Again, it's a 2.5-hour flight from New Zealand, so it's really quite quick to get things into Tonga. So Fiji has Port Denarau Marina, which has been set up for many years, and that can take 20 super yachts up to 85 meters with 5-meter draft. And coming online in 2022 is Maui Island Marina, which is a brand new development, and that will be able to berth 19 super yachts, again, up to 85 meters with 6-meter draft. And so we're quite excited about the new development. Fiji will see about 60 super yacht visits a year. And we're hoping by the end of the development of Maui Island that both marinas will be working at full capacity. We do have a dry dock set up. If any vessel needs to come out of the water for any reason, we can offer that security. The cruising in Tonga. Tonga's got 3 main groups: the southern Tonga Tapu, the central Hapai, and the northern Vavau. Well known for its diving in particular. A central group is like a group of atolls, and very well known for that. And northern group, Vavau, is like a rock island, looks like Palau in Micronesia. And there's some great cruising in there. One of the main attractions of Tonga, and it's really well known for, is the prevalence of humpback whales. So the whale season is from July through to October, when all the humpback whales come up from the Southern Ocean to breed around the islands. And many yacht crews have commented that they're so prevalent, they actually stop pointing them out to each other. So there are some rules. You can't just go willy-nilly sort of chasing the whales. You need to have an official Tongan guide with you. But the whales are right throughout the group. So that's one of the major attractions. The culture, so these islands, they really are the islands of smiles. There's not much tourism in Tonga, and they're genuinely happy to see you when you rock up on their shores, quite heart-melting in the way the culture will respond and look after you, welcome you in. Okay, so moving on to Fiji. So Fiji is substantially larger. So Fiji's 300 islands and offers a huge variety. We have high islands, we have atolls, we've got the boutique 5-star resorts, and we've got a lot of uninhabited, untouched islands that you can cruise. Diving is great. Lots of micro life and small things. There's some quite good sharks and pelagic life around the islands as well. And so the one of the major attractions for super yachts is the Lau group. So this is a group of islands that's unique in its geology, and it has these sort of limestone formations. It's also unique. It was closed for many years to tourism. The chiefs of that region wouldn't allow yachts or anybody in, and they've now, since the last 10 years, it's been open. And they've kept the culture very traditional. So apart from its natural beauty, you can go and see the natural culture of Fiji. And so when you rock up or come and anchor out in front of an island, one of the remote outer islands, you'll see all the village kids will come down to the beach, and they're just eager to see you, and they're waiting for you to come ashore, and there's an excitement in the air. They'll lead you up the beach, and they'll take you to the chief's house, where you'll have to sit down in a semicircle. The chief will call the elders, and you'll have to do the welcome ceremony. So in order to do that, you need to show up with a bundle of kava roots. Kava roots are made from a pepper plant, and they're pounded up into the local beverage, which is called kava. So you have this package of roots, and you offer them to the chief, and then there's some chanting and clapping. And after that, a few minutes, then you are now a guest of the chief, and you'll be warmly welcomed by the village and taken and shown around. And for those, during that process, you can't help but sort of think of the European visitors of old, walking up the beaches, because the culture and the ceremony is still so strong and prevalent amongst the islanders. Okay. So super yacht charter. So Fiji has some super yacht charter rules. They've had it for many years now. It's based around a 5% tax on the gross charter rates. You must have a commercial survey to carry passengers, and it's available to super yachts over 24 meters. This is a picture at the top right there. That's Port Denarau Marina. That's Mirabella 5 pre-refit. And next to her is Dragonfly, who is a regular visitor to Fiji. The island on the left, sorry, is that's known as Castaway Island. That's where the famous movie with Tom Hanks was filmed at that island. Okay. So COVID rules. So Tonga is closed, is still closed. They've never had a COVID case, and they intend to stay closed to the end of the year. Fiji is open to yachts, crew, owners, and charterers. So Fiji's borders are closed to everybody else. So they are the only group of people that are allowed into Fiji to get into the islands. So the process is yachts do 14 days quarantine at anchor, minus their passage time. So most yachts coming down from Tahiti, for example, would be 8 or 9 days, possibly 10 days at sea. And so then you've got 4 or 5 days in quarantine, then you are, after which you are free to cruise the islands. You can go anywhere. Crew can fly in on a case-by-case basis, and they need to do 14 days in hotel quarantine. So owners and charterers can fly in and go and join their boats directly from the airport. And what they're allowed to do is cruise Fiji in quarantine. And this allows them to go anywhere in Fiji, engage in all the usual activities of diving, beach visits, kiting, whatever they want to do, snorkeling, obviously. The only thing they're not allowed to do is mix with the local population. They're not allowed to go to villages, and they have to stay away from the local population. In order to do this, there's some monitoring involved, which so far we've used chase boats, where we'll have a naval monitor that will go on a chase boat, keeping half a mile away at all times, and just making sure that no villagers come out or there's an accident in the quarantine. So you can do that for 14 days, after which you are again free to cruise Fiji as you see fit. Fiji hopes to be vaccinated by August. which will allow the borders to open completely. But like everybody else, we wait with bated breath for the vaccines to arrive. Next slide, please. And that's it. That's a summary of the islands. Obviously, there's a lot of details that could be gone into, but thank you for watching. Anybody who wants more details, we're available through Yacht Help online or by email. And if anybody's got any questions and answers, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks, David. Look, it's great to get that real information from somebody on the ground. Fiji has a special place for us in Hong Kong in that we love the guys that come over for the rugby sevens and usually win. But I've got a question for you that's come up on the chat that says, what about access to Manoa Reef? Is there any dispute going on between Fiji and Tonga?
Interesting question. So there's no real dispute, but yes, it's claimed by both nations, but there's no real tussle about it. Until COVID, it was open. Yachts used to go there freely. Super yachts, everybody else was able to go and visit. But since COVID, Tonga did send a patrol boat there and actually asked some of the yachts to leave. But it's been like that situation forever. And I see a lot of yachts are still going to Manoa Reef now. So it seems to be, it's in a gray area, put it that way. But yachts and super yachts are able to visit it. So.
Okay. And would I be able to cruise Tonga and Fiji on the same trip?
You could do. So the distance between Tonga and the nearest islands of Fiji is about 300 nautical miles. So if you were to pick up your owner or charter in Tonga, you could do a week or in Tonga, sail over to Fiji. And when you come into you would actually come into the Lao group, which is the Eastern Isles. We would actually fly the customs immigration out in a plane to meet you in a remote island, check you in, and then you can continue to cruise Fiji. So yeah, that is one way to get the best of both worlds if you have time. But there's a lot to see in Fiji. If you actually wanted to circumnavigate all the islands, you need at least a month.
I want to go sailing with you, David, definitely. Well, I think that we're going to bring the panelists back so that we can ask some more questions. And Manoa, and I'll start with Manoa. Tahiti, when is the best time and season to come?
So I like to say that you can come to Tahiti all year long. We do have a rainy season between basically November and February. But even during the rainy season, you can have very sunny days. So yes, you just have to keep that in mind. But basically, you can come all year long.
What's the water temperature? You did say it, but can you remind me? Does it change throughout the year, or is it the same all year round?
Oh yeah. It's so our winter is in fact during starting in June. So in winter, it's a little cold, around 26 degrees Celsius. Yeah.
Still sounds good to me. Thank you. And Katrina, can you tell us how long a yacht can stay in the Cook Islands?
Susie, you can come to the Cook Islands and stay for up to 31 days. So you get a permit on arrival. If you'd like to extend, you can extend for up to 3 months, but you'll have to go through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Immigration. But I would suggest you go through your agent to arrange this for you.
Okay, and talking about your agents, who are the super yacht agents in the Cook Islands?
We have 5 agents, but the main agent in the Cook Islands is Cruise Cook Islands. They specialize with super yachts. And they also have an agent in Tahiti. So, I mean, an agent Tahiti, sorry. So if you need anything in Rarotonga or Aitutaki, you can go through there.
Okay, thank you. And what services are available at the, and I can't pronounce it, Akatia Wharf?
Avatua. At the moment, we have water is available at the wharf. We have power. Diesel and fuel can be delivered. We have fresh fruit and imported goods. So there's lots there. But I would advise, if you are coming to the Cook Islands, that you get all your provisions in Rarotonga, as the outer islands are very limited to options.
David, I have one more question for you. How much notice is required to enter Fiji under the COVID rules at the moment coming forward?
Yeah, so you need about 3 weeks to get the paperwork in and get your application processed. You'll need to do a COVID test within 72 hours of departure from your last port. So yeah, it's better to get the paperwork in about 3 weeks in advance.
Okay, and who can help? Where can you get itinerary information? Yeah,
so there's not really much of a cruising guide for Fiji. So for us as agents, I'm an ex-captain, I've spent 20 years sailing around Fiji. So we put together custom itineraries to suit our clients' needs. So if we get a list of needs or interests, owners' interests, for example, of what they might like to see in Fiji, then we can put together a custom itinerary to suit that.
Okay, thank you. And we have another question coming in from Manoa. Taxes required in French Polynesia. Please recommend a Tahiti agent. Or are there agents, how does one find Tahiti agents?
Yes. Yes, so obviously there's a taxation on imported goods. If you have to fly food or alcohol directly to Tahiti. Regarding charters, as Fiji, we apply a 5% charter tax on the gross charter fee. We have 3 main super agents in Tahiti, and of course, I can send you all the contact details by email if required. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And maybe one last question for David. Provisioning. What's provisioning like in Fiji? What are the restrictions there? Are there any restrictions in Fiji?
So it's improved over the years because there are so many international hotels, and now actually the local produce is improving all the time. But having said that, if you want things that are obviously like caviar not available locally, we can fly most things in from New Zealand. As I say, we're so close to New Zealand, 2.5 hour flight. It can be the same day or next day service if you get your order in the morning.
Okay, thank you. I think now it's time to bring in, I think we've got to the end of our questions. Time to bring in Nigel to conclude this session. Nigel?
Hi there. I'm quite gutted actually that I've never cruised the region. I'm thinking of chucking in my career now, revalidating my Master 3000 and heading down there to get lost in the South Pacific. So I think it's fabulous, and the pictures are just gorgeous, and I can't wait to get down there in some capacity. So I think coupled with the rest of Asia, I really think the entire region, it's hard to beat it for the diversity of cultures, the amazing destinations, all year round. It might feel like a far-flung side of the world, but when a yacht comes here, it can cruise all around from South Pacific to New Zealand to Australia, up into Southeast Asia and South Asia, and up here right up to Japan and East Asia where we are. It can cruise with short hops for thousands and thousands of nautical miles, hundreds and hundreds of destinations around the region, year-round cruising circuit, as I said, with all the same services and support that you can find in the West. So when a yacht comes here, it can stay here year-round, great transport links. And as you've seen today, many destinations are like paradise and culturally absolutely amazing. Now, not all of our speakers tonight are APSA members, but this doesn't matter. APSA is an all-inclusive association. We promote the business of yachting throughout the region as a whole. So we work with other associations, we work with companies everywhere. Sure, our members will get preferential treatment by us, but we'll never negatively discriminate against any Pacific or Asia Pacific company or association. We want everybody to succeed down here in the business of yachting. This is our core objective. If good, healthy competition exists in the Asia Pacific region, then business will grow and people are going to be successful and yacht owners will have an ever better standard of experience as they cruise this fabulous region. Wherever you are in the world, you can join APSA and get introduced to the yacht industry here. So please give us a shout, give Susie a shout, and she can set you up with joining our association. And that's my little plug for the evening. Thanks to our great panelists tonight. Thanks to Katrina, thanks to Manoa, thanks to David. Thanks to Susie and her team of Nick, Guy and Jade in the studio there. And we look forward to seeing you again next week, where we're going to have a South Asia Indian Ocean adventure, which will be introduced by the Vice Chairman of APSA, which is Christoph Surd. So that's it from me. Thank you again. See you next week. Susie, to you.
Well, thank you to our panelists, because some of them it's late at night. We've had, there's different time zones that everyone's in. And thank you to our audience and also to all our APSA members that have supported APSA over the years. This is our 10th anniversary this year. And so we're trying to celebrate in the best way we can. We can't have big parties at the moment, but hopefully we'll be able to meet up in shows later in the year, maybe Monaco. So yeah, in the meantime, the information's out there and online, and this webinar will be cut into small YouTube clips so you can watch it again at any other time. So thanks again for joining us.